Hello, dear friends. Welcome to my studio and to Montreal and to our living broadcasting. You already know our subject for today, but before we start, I want to tell you the funny story. As you know, I'm traveling a lot, and just 1 week ago, I was in the sunny Italy, and it was like a summer, and that was great time. It was a 2 days workshop in Monza. That was really cool, and it was really summer compared to the Canada. So I back to Canada, and here we had a rain, ice rain, and it's phrase in rain. It's very specific stuff. It happens just around the Quebec, only here on whole the planet. So just imagine, it's real rain, but the water touching the ground, the car, the trees, and starting to be ice. And we have like a catastrophe here. A lot of people without electricity for days because all the wires just broken. It's really heavy. But from the second side, it's a catastrophe, but it's look beautiful. You know, all the trees with ice, and we took tons of photos. It's impossible to paint because it's look like unreal. It's like you are inside the fantastic movies. So that's really cool. And just imagine, after this demo, after 1 hour, I have to take my car and go into the United States for another one workshop, which started tomorrow, in the beautiful place Riverside with two great hosters, Margaret and Malcolm. So it's incredible busy life. I like it, but sometimes I'm not sure what to wear, which weather will be, because it's like switch from winter to summer to winter again. It's just like a little bit crazy, but I'm truly like it. Back to our studio. For now, I'm in Montreal, and we'll be in Montreal 3 hours more. So welcome to join me. As you know, today we're going to the painting model in the studio. Here's our subject, and you should know on our website watercoloronline.com you will find 5 courses with the same model. It's a beautiful lady named Clara, and we recorded the 5 courses. It's available right now, and surprise is in the few days it will be 2 lessons more. So on all the courses we're talking about the different techniques and different ideas, how to explain the subject, how to explain the lights, how to paint the skin, how to build the composition and the project. And each course, it's a different techniques, different point of view. So for me, it was a very interesting to record and represent you that courses, and I hope you will enjoy it. So you can go to check it right now. You will find the link in our chat. And by the way, we have that chat special for communication. As you can see, I have a technical support. If you type any question in the chat, I can hear it, so I can answer you, and this way we can talk. So any questions, anytime, feel free to stop me and ask the questions. Okay? Good. So by the way, this you see behind me, this is the artwork exactly from that courses. Here is it. And look, the colors here are very similar, almost the same. And later I will have a question for you. Which colors you think better to use for our subject today? This, you can open the poster again to see how they look like a reference photo, and I will follow your advice. You decide which colors we need, okay? But for sure we can adjust it. So again, any questions, ask me anytime. I'm already preparing my sketch. I just make a little bit zoom. Yeah, here is it. So paper is ready. It's wet on the back side, and I wet it for the long time, like 15 minutes before we start our session. And the sketch is pretty simple, just a little bit outlines to see my composition and the shape. This is a Saunders Waterford Rough paper, high white, and as usual I'm painted on the back side. I like the texture of the back side better compared to the front side. So honestly, the back side of Saunders Waterford Rough paper, it's something between cold press and rough. So it's a little bit softly, but more textured compared to cold pressed. So I like that paper very much. It's my favorite. We don't need big brush anymore. I use this guy just to wet the paper. So you already know object, as I say. Look, and just type in the chat which colors you think good for this subject. Just remember, you know my style. I'm trying to limit the numbers of colors as possible, less as possible. So look carefully. You can take a photo of the screen. I can hold it like that. You can make a screenshot and tell me which colors you want to use. Any ideas? And for sure we will use the colors of the Daniel Smith. That's all I'm using all the time. This from my list, from my set. But remember, limited numbers of colors. Yeah, I see the question. No, I wet just the back side. The front side is completely dry, so I'm not touching. It's the reason is simple. I want to use the dry brush strokes for this light and for light here, so that's why I keep the front side dry. But the back side I wet like in advance, like a 15 minutes. So. Okay, I have a great. That's the first advice. Quinacridone Sienna, definitely. This is my main color, and I'm using that a lot. Okay, you win. Good. Quinacridone Sienna, right here. Okay, you say Quinacridone Deep Gold, right? Okay, it's not necessarily, honestly, but a little bit here, maybe there, special this area. We can try to do that. Okay, that's good decision. Violet pink. That's interesting. Violet pink, it's possible. Yes, special for mixing somewhere here, but I believe you know me and you know my travel palettes, what I'm using normally all the time. So here in the middle, the big guy is a Perylene violet. So honestly, for my feeling, the Perylene violet is right here. So that's like a almost clear Perylene violet. Special if we mix the Perylene violet with a little bit Queen Sienna or Deep Gold. So I prefer to use the Perylene violet this time. Cobalt. That's interesting solution. Yes, special because we have a little bit bluish reflection here. I'm not sure that's visible on the screen. Yeah, like this, you can see it. It's a cold light from the window in the studio. So yes, that's brilliant solution. Special if we build a project like that. More warm and colorful shadows and more cold lights. That will be interesting. Okay, Cobalt. Good. Right here. Deep Hansa. It's possible, but you know what? I keep all my colors all the time 100% transparent. That's why in my list you see all of them transparent, and for me it's very important. The Hansa is not, and that means if I'm starting to use the Hansa in my mixes, I lost the transparency. So no, I know that itself it's very nice color, I like it, but I prefer to avoid it for my mixing. Okay, more ideas? No, Quinacridone Sienna is already here, Perylene Violet is already here in the palette, thanks for advice, but we did it. I have a question. Look, yeah, if we're talking about this, that's enough. These colors is enough to build that. What about the hair or dark touching, what we have here? So what colors best for that? Or how you can mix that colors, using what? Any ideas? Okay, Alizarin Crimson, it's interesting idea, possible, but you know, there is no like a bright pink here, and we can mix like a purple or pinkish colors using the Perylene Violet. Remember, idea is to limited numbers of colors, not to use too much. So it's good idea, and if it will be like a, for the long time studio project, maybe I will use that, the crimson, but not this time. So the still question is what we will do for the darker colors here, for the hair. Indigo and Queen Sienna, that's brilliant solution. Yeah, because look, it's right here, it's so visible. This look like almost like a black, and Indigo with the Queen Sienna make it perfectly. Here, it's more Queen Sienna, and we have a perfect warm reflection. And look at that, we have a cold reflection here on the hair, so we can use the Cobalt for that. So thanks guys, we built full set. I just add Indigo in my palette. Thank you for your advice, it's a brilliant choice of colors, great. So now we have everything what we need. And for everyone who on Instagram right now, you can go to the YouTube on my channel and you can watch this demo in real time. Welcome to join. So sorry, I have to remove this reference photo from the screen because I need full area. But again, the last chance, you can take a screenshot and following that, just following your screen. So I put it here. And as I say, this part I won't keep like a light with a dry brush. That's why, with a clear paper and dry brush strokes. That's why I leave it, the front side is dry. And I'm following your advice. It was a good idea to use a Cobalt for that. So let's do this. Just a little bit Cobalt for the light. And with a dry brush it have to be look interesting. Almost nothing. Good question about the primary colors. You know, the primary colors in watercolor, that's surprise, not exist. If we're talking about the primary colors, what we use in our printers, for instance, RGB, like SMIC, it's a chemical stuff. There is nothing like that in the, you know, in the watercolor, because it's a natural pigments. It's not like a chemical things. And plus, even for the SMIC printers, you never print something like a real viridian or phthalo green colors. For this, you have to switch to for the real colors. For the 6 colors printers, 9 colors printers, so the 3 guys, not enough. So that's the serious reason. And first time I will start to use a little bit, just a little bit deep gold. Let's check how it's look like together. Hello, India. Look, it's already look like a good light. Hello, Terrebonne. Hello, Ukraine. Hello, Pittsburgh. Kansas City, welcome to join me. And back to the reference, you see here's we see the skin color through the transparent cloth. So that's my first trying the colors for the skin here. If it will be okay, I will move to the big area. If not, we will change that mix. Basically it will be Perylene Violet and a little bit Queen Sienna. Okay, my paper, I see the question, my paper is a 15 by 15 inches. Hello friends! Hello New York City! I will be in your state just in the 2 hours. Hello Florida! And I back to the yellowish light mix again here. And we will try soft blending. So from one side I still keep the dry brush, from the second side soft blending. A little bit more pinkish here. So I can say it's look acceptable, so I'm going to use the same mixes for the other parts. We have 100 people join me today. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for your time. If you don't mind, please give us a like, because that helps other people to find that video on the YouTube. Edward, thank you very much. Yes, I look forward to our meeting. I like the Riverside workshop place very much, and the host is great, guys. So I'm look forward to our meeting as well. Yeah, that will be soon. Hello, Austria. So I can say that the light part is done, so I can stop on that, and we slowly go into this area. And you have to know that two last steps change whole the picture completely. First of all, then we're starting to create the background, and I don't want to follow in the picture precise. I mean, the feel, whole the shapes, it's not necessary. And the last stroke, then we care about the hair, and that's dark point. That's bring the light feeling to our painting, and that will be very visible. So slowly I'm going here. Dry brush. I back to our mix, what we use here, but I add just a little bit cobalt inside. Hello, South Africa. People around the world, that's really cool. Yeah, about the colors here, for people who missed it in the beginning, this is the Indigo from the Daniel Smith for sure. And that's the Perylene Violet, Cobalt, Quinacridone Sienna, and Quinacridone Deep Gold. This is our guys for this job, and only. And I like the mix between Perylene Violet and the Cobalt. That works perfectly. This one. Hello, Tokyo. Okay, and we go in here. Look, I'm back to that mix, Perylene Violet and Cobalt again, just a little bit Sienna to make it softly. and we have a perfect colors for the shadows here, and that's really soft. Hello Spain. And for everyone who now on the Facebook, you have to go to the YouTube channel, my channel, because you can see this full demo in real time right now. You know that when you're playing in that game, you have to change your mixes all the time. Don't make like a big area with a one color. That's important. Hello Switzerland. Now I like to add some really colorful mix inside that. Everything is soft, and sometimes it's like a colorful strokes like this. It's really cool. Hello Armenia. I will be in Armenia in the end of April for the 8 days workshops, and I'm looking forward to that. I like that country. Hello Italy. So now I'm starting to work here because I need a really strong contrast to explain the lights, so I have to prepare the colorful warm but dark mix. So let's check how it will look like. And I use the dry brush for that as well. Oh, not bad, not bad. Maybe just a little bit more colorful. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, sure. My reference photo is here, and you can find the same reference photo on the poster. That's why we make the post in advance, so you can download it and use it like a reference if you want to follow me. Hello Singapore. Hello Portugal. Oh, that's, you see, that's colorful strokes here make it look like a really nice. This is mostly just a Queen Sienna, but the Queen Sienna is so colorful and powerful pigment. I love that. And remember people, you can ask me any questions right in the chat, because I will hear everything what you type it, and by this way we can talk. Hello Philippines. I back to the warm mix again here. Oh, that's really cool. That's warm light like this. Looks amazing. And remember, times to times, wash out, just make the lines of the cloth more visible. You see, the pigments is gone here. I want to back the contrast, so that's why I touch it another one time. There, it's important. It's my like point for reference to understand how bright this part. And more purple. just with the washout I can make a very soft mixes and connect it to the light. We can rebuild the shape of the shadows just like that. Because all the pigments here are unstable, they're moving, so I can control it and change everything what I need if I need. Okay, thank you for a question about the gouache. I like that medium, a special gouache from the Daniel Smith, because you know it's completely different stuff. It's very colorful. Normally gouache never colorful like that. So I like that, and it's good advice. Yeah, I will try to find a time to record the video how to use the gouache in the good way. Special, I like the combination between the gouache and watercolor. You can find on the website of the Daniel Smith or YouTube channel of the Daniel Smith, I make a demo how to combine that guys together, and maybe it will be interesting for you. So I like that combination. Yeah, okay, good question about the Saunders Waterford paper. Again, we're talking about the rough paper. The cold press, it's almost the same. On the rough paper, it's a double-side paper. You can use both sides, no matter. I mean, talking about the glue, it's the same amount of glue on front, on the back. It's just a question of the texture. The texture of the back side, a little bit more softly, not that strong, and I like that more. So that's just one reason. The front side, for me, too organized. It's look like, you know, almost like a paper tower, so visible, all the lines like this, and I don't like that. But the back side, softly and nicely. It's just personal test of the texture, nothing more. Absolutely right question about your palette before you start, you know. It doesn't matter what level you have, beginner or real professional, any artist, before we are start to make any project, we have to build our own palette exactly for this project. Sometimes for that we have to go to the store to pick up the new colors that we never used before, because sometimes the subjects can be completely different. You know, it's very visible, special if you're traveling and painting the plein air. If you go into the Japan, all the colors what you have around you look completely different compared to the Canada. So if I want to have a plein air in Japan, I have to go to the store and take different colors, not what I used before. And that's always like that. So we have to build the color map for our project before we start. It makes sense. And no, it's a good question about my sketchbook. No, for the rough paper, which I like very much and painting with the rough paper a lot, for the small size on the sketchbook, not exactly nice, for my feeling. So for the sketchbook size, I prefer the cold pressed paper. So this is the Saunders Waterford cold pressed. I add some accents here, because in time the pigments is gone and they are not dark anymore. That's the price what we pay for the wet paper. The wet paper on the back give me a lot of time to play with my pigments. From the second side, the colors going deep inside, and I lost the colorful. So I have to back to my mixes again to keep the contrast, and that's important. Okay. Um, Good question about the green colors what I'm using. Honestly, I'm stopped to use Viridian. It still exists in my list, and the reason is, the real Viridian colors, what Daniel Smith produced, this is a natural pigment, and I like the natural pigments, but it's not that bright and colorful compared to the phthalo colors. That's why finally, like 3 years ago, I used the phthalo and the Viridian as well together. Now I'm completely switched to the phthalo pigments and stopped to use Viridian. So it exists in my list here. If you have that list, if you're following that, just switch from the Viridian to the phthalo green blue shade, and that's exactly what I'm using. Just a little bit more accents here. With a solid blending. It's very important, you see, to keep the contrast here. Exactly this contrast make the picture for us. Without this, we never explain the light. And to bring the lights there, I use the washout again. Hello, Kitty. Yeah, sure. That's the point. It's a great, brilliant question. That's the point. Look at my travel palette. Yeah, I know it's pretty dirt. I don't like to clean my palette, but here is just 9 colors, and that's it. And honestly, I use the 8. This one, it's a neutral tint. I'm not using for mixing. I use for my sketchbook, but I'm not used for mixing. So with this, just 9 colors, I can mix everything what I need. So for me, it's important to discover your colors, to use it exactly in the mixing, not use directly from the tube, because it never make your painting look really connected and nice. So the mixing colors is important ability. Agnieszka, thank you very much for your comment. Yes, you're right. That's really, really fantastic brushes. If you ask me to paint without my flat brushes, that for now it will be impossible. And you're right. Only with that, guys, I can really wash out, and that's easy to do. So yeah, thank you. So what I want to do here, I slowly starting to build this part of the face, but also I use the same big brush here to prepare. I don't want to paint the hair now, but I'm preparing that. That means I just blend it just like this. So after that, I back to that part, and we're gonna finish this. But what I can do on the neck, I can make some yellowish light. So that will be nice. And just start to prepare the hair. Only few touching. And as I say, no time to do that now, so that's why I'm just blended with the water, and back to that later. Another one interesting combination, if I use the Quinacridone Deep Gold with the Perylene Violet. It's a very rich color. And not exactly understandable, it's something, just something nice. We have a 130 people. Thank you very much to join me today. I appreciate it, and I appreciate it if you give us a like, because it's more people find that video, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So thank you for your support. So you see, after that I softly blend it with the water, and the last trick, that's your advice, was in the beginning, I use the Cobalt a little bit for the light, right on the skin, to make the cold light coming from the window. And after that I will use more Sienna to make that contrast more visible. And wash out, so softly blended. Again, there is no time to paint the hair now, but what I can do, preparing that. So I make just a soft blend in here and use the water. Later you will see how to do that. More carefully we'll talk about this on my courses, which you can find on the website watercolorline.com. 5 courses about the model in the studio, and we talk about how to build the hair to make the feeling of the light better. So I'm stopped there, and the most interesting part, what we will do with the background. What we have on our reference photo, it's not exactly what we have to do in reality, because the reference photo is just a camera. So first of all, we have colors everywhere. I don't think what we need to paint whole the paper. What I do need, I need a contrast here on the background, like a negative space to explain the light. But this part, it's not necessary to be painted like that. Okay, for the people who join us late, the reference photo you can find on the poster. We post that special, so you can see the reference photo and use it for the painting. That's for free for you. So this is a really complicated mix. Honestly, I use almost all the colors what I have on my palette. And let's go. And I still use somewhere the dry brush, like here. I use the paper towel just for this part of the face to stop the water. I see the question about how much the pigments and the colors you have to use. You know, it's impossible to measure. It's just your feeling tell you it's have to be more, have to be less. But how I can tell you? I have to see how much paint you took. In that case, I can give some advice, but without looking at that's impossible. So look at the trick. First of all, I make it like almost natural. It's not warm, not cold, a little bit warm. So what I will do, I want to make the good feeling of the light, so I wash out the pigments here. That's make a really shiny light. In time, it's going to be blend softly with the background without me itself. But on this side, I'm following the opposite idea. I make my mix a little bit more purple and colder. Yes, I see the question. Yeah, how I can mix all the colors together and still have a nice mix. The answer is all of them transparent. That's the key. So if all of them transparent, I can mix all the colors from my palette, all that 9 guys, and finally it still will be nice mix. So the transparency for the watercolor, it's important thing. That's why I built my palette Slowly selected everything what I need, and it takes a time. So now you see, because of that washout, my character connected to the background. I use the dry brush like I did before here. And because we have a nice diagonal, I want to support that diagonal. So what I will do, I create a pretty dark background there. Still use the dry brush. See, I have to back to this again because you see it's softly blended, but I want to keep it lighter. The same I want to do here. So we create, because of that contrast, we create a good feeling of the light. Just to support it again, I wash out. Plus, I can continue to show the direction of the cloth here, and that's make it a little bit more dynamic. So for now what I will do, I make it dry and we finish it our painting just to make a few touching, but that's few touching change picture a lot. Okay, and look, for now, after I make it dry, it's not 100% dry, it's still wet inside. All the colors match softly, and that look like a dark with a huge contrast, and this one. So it's for now, because this still empty. Then I'm starting to create that. You will feel like all that part starting to be like a very shiny and bright compared to this. So we need a point for compare. And just imagine if you put some black colors here, how bright all of this starting to look like. So that's the tube what I use right now. And for that, the main combination will be Indigo and Quinacridone Sienna together. And exactly it, that's your advice. You see, it's a lot of Sienna and Indigo. And I'm almost destroying my brush. You see, I twist it like this. So that's make nice shape what I can use here. Let's maybe somewhere a little bit more Sienna. Yeah, thank you for the question about the workshops in Montreal. Physically, we did it one time in last year, but physically, no. In Zoom, yes. Physically, no. It sounds strange, I know, but if you go to my website and click the page workshops, you will see how much workshops I hold around the planet. This year it's 79 workshops, but there is no workshops in Montreal. It's strange, I know, but it just happens. Good question about my plate. No, it's just for painting. Honestly, this is a ceramic, and ceramic is always the best for mixing colors. You know, if you mix your colors on the plastic, on the metal, instead of see the colors, you have a lot of dots. The ceramic works different, so that's why it's ceramic. I'm still use the dry brush if it's possible. We have 140 people. Thank you very much for coming today. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you for your comments about the washout. You know, if I not use the washout, my body here will look like I just cut it with a knife from one painting and glue on my background. This make it really dynamic and look connected. So I'm really like that special effect. It's a huge part of my style. Okay, thank you for a question about the brushes. All my brushes and all my materials what I'm using you can find on my website watercoloronline.com. All of that materials for my students here. And by the way, talking about that brushes, you can find it only on my website, on Amazon from my company, and in Japan and Tokyo only. That's it. Because that's the really unique product made special for me. Okay, and I switch to the calligraphy smaller brush. Yeah, I see a question about the sugar. Yes, it's a possible trick. It works. Also, you can use onion or some special stuff to make your mixes on your plastic visible. But it's like a solution for fix the problem. And in the few days, you have to do it again and again and again. So instead of that, because the plastic it's not really great for that, instead of that it's much better to use the ceramic and you never have that problem. So for my feelings makes sense. Thank you for your comment about the ring. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So we have to add the contrast here. That's important as well, because without that we never feel the light. So it should be done. And just in the end, we can make a small correction. Honestly, I can say because of that contrast, we finish the picture maybe just one stroke more special here. So as I say, it's a done, but a little bit correction bring the contrast back, and we can borrow some details here. It's just a little bit touching. So first of all, for this I have to clean my palette a little bit. It's always sad to do that. I like that unpredictable, complicated mixing, but sometimes yes, we have to. So I use the Queen Sienna to bring some bright accents. Like here, for instance, it will be much better. And I blend it with the water after this. Then it's dry, it will look softly. Yeah, thank you for a question about the workshops in France. Again, you can go on my website, watercolorline.com, click the page workshops, and you will see all my schedule in real time. In France, yes, I will be in France in 2024. I don't remember exactly the dates, but you can check it yourself. Plus, I will be on the festival in France if I'm right, it have to be, let me check just a second, where it should be. No, it will be 2024 as well. So not this year. But yeah, I will be. But yeah, what will be definitely, and if you have a chance, makes sense to be there. It will be plein air workshop in Provence, in France, this year in the end of September with a French escapade. That will be a very, very special event, seriously. First of all, because that's beautiful area. Second one, because it perfectly organized and it's like a great quality hotels, and we're gonna make a plein air and working in the studio. So that will be this year. If you have a chance and want to go there, welcome. I believe we still have spots. Normally all the workshops feels very fast, but if I'm right, we have 2 places there. So you can check again all the information on the website and try to connect to the French escapade to book the place. So that's the last touching. It's not necessarily, but I like to bring some colorful things inside that. Yeah, good question about the lights on the model. So this model, the photo was made special for the course model in the studio. That's important question. You know, then I'm painting the people, and I like painting people. Normally, I took my photos on the street, and normally we have a very strong sunlight with a strong visible shape, with the shadows, and because of that shape of the shadows, we see the shape of the face in the 3D. In the studio, like in my studio, there is no strong lights. It's a soft light. There is no strong shadows. It's like a normal light in our apartments and our houses and in our studios. It's a different light. So that's why I built that course special for that, and we talk about how to explain the lights like this way. So what I have now on my reference photo, I have a model in the studio with a warm light in the studio, which we normally have in our apartments, and with a cold light from the window. And you can see that it's from this side, the cold light is like just a cloudy day. It's a little bit bluish. And from the second side, we have a warm light. It's just a lamp, like a table lamp, any one lamp, what we have normally in our apartments. And that, it's interesting because it's completely opposite way. Normally, outside, on the street, the shadows is cold, the light is warm, because of our star is yellow star and the lights is warm. So in the studio, in our apartments, it's completely opposite way. The lights from the window, if we're not talking about the sunlight directly, the lights from the window cold, and the shadows, because our lights in the studio and all our design and everything warm. We like the warm colors. Candle. So the shadows always are more warmer compared to the light. And that's interesting game. So we're not talking about that here too much because just there is no time. It's already almost 1 hour. But you will find a lot of answers on how it works together for mixing colors on my courses. So welcome to join. Just you can find the link right in the chat. So we're back to our picture. One thing can make it better. Remember we're talking about the diagonal here. I don't want to focus on the face and build something here, but just one stroke there can make our painting better. Maybe not, maybe yes, but just because we like to make an experiments, let's try to do this. So I make, you see the dry brush strokes there to make my diagonal, my composition more visible. So now that works better. If I want to make my background a little bit more complicated as well, so I can repeat the same trick like I did here, there. Still keep my washout, just a little bit dry brush strokes. And use the water. Again, it's not necessary, but you know, it's like I'm trying to keep the balance and rebuild my balance and change it. We still can use washout, like you can see, just make that a little bit darker. So then now the diagonal more visible, and I'm really like how it's look like. And I like that warm reflections, like almost like from the candle or from the fireplace. So I believe we're done with that. We have to do more. It's pretty fresh and loose, especially because of that touching. For sure, we can spend more time to perfectly build all the drops here, but I don't think that makes sense. That's one of the most important idea for me. I'm trying to do less as possible. If my subject understandable, if the feeling what I want to put in my painting understandable, we don't have to do more. Special for watercolor. Less as possible. That make it more fresh and transparent. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoy that. If you have any questions after the video, then it will be on the YouTube. In our chat, in our comments, you can type any sentence, any comments, and I will find a time to answer you. Stay healthy, again, be creative, and thank you for beautiful time in Monday what we spent together. See you next Monday. Bye bye.